Hello, welcome to Bookzone. I'm Nina Sebastiane. With me in the studio is Gary Rhodes with his brand new book, Time to Eat. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Nina.
Now, great looking cookbook. I do not believe that nobody's come up with the idea of planning things through timings. I mean, that must be incredible.
Well, it's been great fun to do. I mean, obviously we did our homework to check. Has anybody written a book like this before? And certainly not for many, many, many years. It's sort of, time has been forgotten, and it's all been about, you know, the actual dish itself, and nothing to do with how long it takes and what time we all have. Because let's face it, we don't have the time we had yesterday. I found it really inspirational, and the only way I could get into it was to sort of say to myself, right, here I am at home, I've got a wife, I've got 2 children. They're often opening up that fridge. We are forever hearing, as you can imagine, Nina, Dad, there's nothing in the house, we're going to starve. You know, what do you mean you're going to starve? So that is what inspired me. I thought, hang on a minute, you know, I want to open up everybody's eyes to see that what we actually have on an everyday basis in our house. So I went through everything I had on a regular sort of format, which is all standard sort of things.
So
yes,
your dry goods,
the dry,
in the fridge.
Exactly. There's always the little thing of olive oil, and there's your tin of tomatoes. You've always got your baked beans, or you've got your egg, and it goes on. You've always got a stock cube. You've got that kind of thing. And on the fresh ingredients, I thought, right, what vegetables do we have? Well, there's always those extra couple of potatoes sitting in the bottom of the fridge. There's usually at least half an onion hanging around. Tomatoes are hanging around usually. You might be lucky with a few salad leaves, not always there, but now and again, certainly during the summer season. And then there's usually things like this. There's some ham, there's a bit of cheese, even if it's just a little lump of cheddar, it's there. You've got bacon, you might have a packet of sausages if you're lucky, but let's not forget what's kept in the freezer. Is there still a packet of mince that was put in there a little while ago?
There certainly is in our freezer. I must get that out.
Absolutely, yes, exactly.
But
exactly.
it's in there. It's just staple stuff that's in black. And the excuse, well, actually, I haven't got the time to do it. You can't use that excuse anymore, is what you're saying.
Well, what I'm trying to say to everybody is, look, you know, we all know we're stuck for time. Let's, instead of going out and continuing to buy more food, let's use what we've got at hand, in-house. And so we've even included a chapter of No Time to Shop. I mean, if you're going to you're off to work in the morning, have a look in that freezer now and again and just think, actually, I will get that packet of mince out. And you might want to make it into very quick little burgers in the evening. So it isn't always a question of, oh yes, but that's going to take a long time to make into bolognese. No, I'm saying, look, you can make some lovely homemade burgers. You've got that half an onion, you've got that mince, little touch of salt and pepper. Before you know it, you're frying it, nice poached egg on top or a fried egg on a bun, and bingo, you're in business.
I think that over the last 10 years, food has certainly become far more mainstream, and people have begun to realise and want food more, and really sort of pay attention to how it works in this country. Do you think that's been brought on by, I don't know, by celebrity chefs? How has that happened?
I think certainly cooking on television has helped in a big way. There's been sort of an explosion, hasn't there? I think it sort of started slowly 20 years ago, but you're right, the last decade, goodness me, it's incredible. When, you know, it always shocks me going into a supermarket today to find ingredients quite often that you 10 years ago you wouldn't have seen in this country. Odd looking things. You think, what on earth is that doing here? You know, you don't expect it. So it's amazing that the only reason they are supplying them is because there's a demand for them, which is fabulous to see, absolutely fabulous, because you know that there's people out who are actually creating their own dishes from all of this.
But do you feel instrumental in all of this? Because, I mean, surely you and, you know, a handful of other chefs in this country have over the last 10 years, I think, really put it on the main stage.
Well, I'd like to think so. It's incredible, actually, if I am walking around a supermarket and people come up and then, what have you got in there, Gary? What are you doing?
Do you get
It is like, oh yes.
And you don't go to Sainsbury's or Waitrose, no you don't, Summerfield.
No, I do.
Do you?
Yes, I walk around with a shopping trolley. It's usually, either Jenny will go on her own because she can't abide coming with me, or with the boys, but otherwise, you know, the occasional weekend, myself and Sam and George, my sons, will go over, and they look like my 2 minders because they're really these big guys that are walking around, and I'm saying, boys, don't walk around with those sort of stony looks on your face. People think that I'm, you know, instead we go around and we have a bit of fun. But people are often saying, what are you doing with that leg of lamb? And I'm saying, well, this is what I'm going to do. And I get into it then, and that's why Jenny can't abide coming with me, because I don't just tell them something quickly. I go through the whole meal of what I'm going to do. I'm quite boring socially, because all I talk about is food.
Yeah, I think it's a perfectly understandable thing to do. And on that note, I think my stomach's rumbling. It's time to eat.